Welcome to Port St. Lucie. This is Professor Tefero for Chinese Taoist poetry. And this is the first lesson of a course which you might be asking yourself, well, I don't particularly care for poetry and I don't particularly care for Taoism either. So why should I have to learn Taoist or poetry for China or Taoist poetry? Well, there's a very good reason for this. Taoist poetry is a very large body of work that is included in the essence of Chinese history and philosophy. For you to understand everything that's going on in modern China, and even with this, it will be difficult for you to understand everything that's going on in modern China, but for you to even have a chance to understand many of the things that are going on in modern China, you need to understand the origins of Chinese history, philosophy, and religion. Without those helping sticks, you will fall down into the valley of ignorance. So, let's look at the first things that we need to do for this course. First, you need a copy of the Tao Te Ching, which is available everywhere. And less available is a copy of the book of Shangsa, which you also need for a different perspective, a more virile perspective of philosophical Taoism. And the first thing you're going to learn in this course is that there's a major dichotomy within Taoism between religious Taoism, which has gods, priests, temples, and canon, law, and philosophical Taoism, which has none of those things, which depends on the internal belief systems of each individual. Let's begin with the first element of ancient Taoist poetry, and that comes from India. That would be the Upanishads. Now, the Upanishads are a very interesting piece of writing because they have so many philosophical principles that are taken by philosophical Taoism and used in ancient philosophical Taoism, and are even apparent in today's world for millions of Chinese who follow the principles that are involved in the Upanishads. The Upanishads take simple philosophical ideas without gods, without priests or Brahmins, without temples, without laws, and basically they say, do unto others as others would do unto you. Now, that's been utilized by several religions, the least of which is not Christianity, but there are several religions that have utilized the principles that are found in the Upanishads. And the basic element of Upanishads is that you should do good, that good will overcome evil, that good is within us, and we have to find it within ourselves. We cannot depend on others to be good. We cannot depend on institutions to be good. We have to depend on ourselves. So, these are very profound principles that met with a great deal of resistance from powers that be in that time. Royal courts, the royal Chinese courts didn't like these types of ideas. The royal courts of India didn't like these types of ideas. So you will find that the Upanishads, although they're very sensible and they have good ideas, just were not accepted by the powers that be at the time. In our next lesson, we're going to look what happened to the Upanishads when they reached Tibet before they came into China? How were they changed and why were they changed? Until then, this is Professor Tefero signing off from Port St. Lucie and wishing you a good night. Take care.